Alrighty, what is up, everybody? It is Michael here with Combat Sports Today, and I'm joined by professional mixed martial artist, UFC veteran, and he's known to step up a mean ribeye, the one and only Boston Strong, Charles Rosa. How are you doing today?
Man, great. Couldn't be better. I'm back home right now for my little brother's fight. He fights tomorrow on Fight Pass. Looking to remain undefeated. My little brother Lucas Roses. So, I'm up here, staying active in combat sports, doing what I love. Got my family, got my newborn baby. Life is good.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. 2025 has already been a big year for you. I know that you're newly married. You got the beautiful daughter that you welcomed into the world. How is everything going?
Oh, couldn't be better, man. Like I said, I got my little brothers crushing it. Got my beautiful wife, my beautiful baby. Um, life is good. I'm healthy, which I think is for fighters. Most people don't know, but sometimes you just see fighters and they just kind of fall off the map. You don't know what happened. Oh, what, did he retire? It's injuries, man. Injuries are so big in this sport, and you don't ever hear about it. Nobody's doing an interview for some guy that got injured. You know what I'm saying? So, luckily, I've been healthy. My body feels good, and I still got some good years left in me, and I think the best is yet to come. I won my world title this year. I won a world championship for CES. Fought my first bare knuckle MMA fight for Game Bread. Big stage, won a big fight. Beat the top guy from New England, Pete Barrett. I finished him in the third round, and he's actually fighting BKFC tomorrow night. So I think I'm at Saturday night, so I'm gonna go up there and watch him and my best friend Rico fight, and Brendan Ward, some good guys. So yeah, man, there's all good things to come.
Hell yeah, I love to hear it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about BKFC Ice Wars. As an elite mixed martial artist and collegiate athlete with major passion for hockey, what was your first reaction to hearing about this new innovative promotion?
Man, my favorite part of hockey is the fighting, and I think I've never been to a hockey game that a fight breaks out and the crowd doesn't go wild, and something I've always known since I was a kid. You go to a hockey fight and just hope a fight breaks out. Like that was always my favorite part of hockey, and unfortunately for me, that was the thing I was best at, but it wasn't really condoned in college sports hockey fighting, and even in high school. I didn't get any. It didn't help me with the coaches at all. So my dream as a kid was to be a NHL player, an NHL enforcer. You know what I'm saying? But you know the years to get to the NHL are high school and college, and hockey fights are not condoned during that time. So it didn't really fit in with what I was doing. Obviously I've had a great career, and life happens and it changes, and I got a great UFC career, 10-year UFC career. 3 fight of the night bonuses, a couple submission of the night bonuses, performance of the night bonuses, most all-time wins in Boston. Fought the best of the best around the world, and I beat some of the best of the best. And I got to do what I love, and I continue to, and I love fighting, whether it's in the UFC, whether it's in bare knuckle, whether any type of combat sports. So initially, when I heard of Ice Wars, man, it was my 2 favorite things: hockey. You took hockey and you took fighting, and you brought them together, man. And I couldn't believe I didn't kind of think of it myself. The concept is amazing, and we're gonna see if we can take this thing off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was looking at the rule set. So it says all fighters should wear appropriate hockey attire. Are we thinking any Bruins inspired gear?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking. I think that they're gonna provide the jerseys. I was excited. I was like, man, I wonder if I can, make my own jersey, like have my sponsors and do that. But I think to start it, that they're gonna provide the jerseys because I'm sure they're gonna have their own type of things. They're still, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we talk about, like they're still working out some of the kinks. They actually have their first event Saturday night. Charlie, the CEO of BKFC, and Ian Heinisch from he's the president, and a couple of those guys, Kevin Smith, he's the fighters operations manager. They got a good crew, and they're promoting their first show. I believe it's in Michigan on Saturday night, so we're gonna see how that goes. That's I'm not sure if you can tune in and watch it, but like I said, it's the first one, so they're getting the kinks out, and then once they get those kinks out and they get it on real hockey ice, the first show we're planning for is Tampa in August, and that's when you're going to be seeing me making my BKFC Ice Wars debut.
Hell yeah, we'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
And also another rule that stood out to me, if I read it, it says pro bouts may be gloved or bare knuckle. All gloves shall be examined and approved by the sanctioning organization anytime before, during, or after a bout. So I was wondering if you're going into that environment, are you thinking gloves or no gloves?
I mean, this is what I was like my idea, because one of the things I also am working on, kind of being a part owner of BKFC Wars, because I want to build with the company. Like, I truly believe that we could get it to the highest level. So I'm still working on that part of it. It's completely separate from my fight contract. It's just something that I'm passionate about. So they're still working out some things. Like, in my mind, I think it would be best to have real hockey gloves, and have them throw them off for the optics, throw them off and then go, bare knuckle. I would think keep the helmet on and keep the face open, so you don't get hit in the back of the head, which is illegal in MMA anyway. So if you look at a hockey helmet, it protects, the back of the head and here, and the face is wide open, the chin's open, there's no chin strap, there's no face mask. So I think the helmet stays on, you know what I'm saying? I think, and the gloves come off. They're still working out those kinks. Like I said, they're having that first show, and it's in full gears, which is really cool because, you know, if you go out there and just skates in like a t-shirt and just, it's not the same. The optics, I think, are super important. You want to make it look as close to a real hockey fight as you can. But I believe that right now they're doing it with the MMA gloves and the helmets on. And I think they're going to work towards the bare knuckle after. So I think it's just kind of, working out the kinks right now. But I would like to see, like personally, I would like to see, bare knuckle helmet on. And then, if somebody does get knocked out of fall, it breaks the fall with the equipment on, the shoulder pads, the elbow pads, the helmet. Like no one's going to fall after they get knocked out and hit the ice, which is a scary part of it. We've never really seen in NHL somebody fall and like really get hurt. So I mean, kind of just follow what they've been doing. I feel like, even though it's elite, it's not really condoned in the NHL, but you see some good fights.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Definitely, as time goes on, everything will get, like you said, everything will be worked out, trial and error. And as it continues, are you thinking about any Boston Strong Ice Wars merch, like any hockey jersey type merchandise?
Yeah, 1,000%. So, like I said, the show's in August. So I think by, mid-July, once I get the contract signed for the actual fight, like I signed the fight contract, the multi-deal fight contract with BKFC Ice Wars. But when I get my opponent, my matchup, and the location, the venue is secured, then I'm definitely going to get some cool merch out. So you guys can look out for that. And, I always get the Chucky's fight, sponsored on it. So, I'm really excited, So the next step now is getting some ice time and getting back on my skates because, I played hockey in college, played in high school since I was a little kid, and I even, went and helped coach a couple Pee Wee teams over the last couple of years. So I've been on the ice, but like as far as like, really skating and like practicing, that's I got to get that back,
Hell yeah. I'm sure it'll come back, it's like riding a
It's like
bike.
riding a bicycle. Yeah, that's how I
Exactly.
thought. But
And then here, just a little fun one on the hockey. You wanted to be the hockey enforcer. So when you think of hockey enforcers, what are some of the top names that come to mind? And did you have any that you would want to throw down with on the ice,
yeah,
hypothetically?
well, I mean, there's nobody that I actually like hate, but I say I grew up watching, Ty Domi, Bob Probert. There's one of my best friends who actually passed away, Matt Simone. His uncle was Nicky Fotiu from the Rangers, man, and he has a great backstory, man. He grew up as a kid, in Jersey, watching, sneaking into the Rangers game, and they ended up kind of story that like happened to me with the UFC. I never got to be an enforcer, but he grew up as a kid going, Nicky Fotiu for. From the Rangers, he was one of the baddest, men on the planet fighters, and he would sneak into the Rangers game as a kid, and then he ended up playing for the Rangers and was an enforcer. And the same thing with me, man. I would go to the Bruins game as a kid, sitting in the nosebleeds, and then, a little different for me, I got to walk out in the Garden, have the most all-time wins with the Rosa Boston jersey on, and fight and get my first UFC win in the Garden. So I think it's really cool, the way things come, and yeah, like I said, Ty Domi's one of my favorite to watch. Obviously, he's an absolute beast. Recently, guys that I always like Milan Lucic, man. Like he wasn't. He was also a goal scorer too, and he was a good player, but he was a tough dude, man. And like that was kind of the type of player I like because he also contributes to the team, scoring goals too. And then yeah, let me think some others that I liked. Milan Lucic, Sean Thornton. He's actually the president of the Florida Panthers now too. He was played a similar role for the Bruins. Absolute, nails, tough dude. Wouldn't ever back down from a fight. So those are the more recent guys that I like. But obviously you got the legends like Ty Domi's and Proberts and those type of guys.
Hell yeah. Well, we're excited to see you in Ice Wars. And of course, I'm going to be on the lookout for everything else on the horizon. Might have to cop if you get that hockey gear. And I wanted to talk about the gym too. You spent a large portion of your career fighting out of American Top Team,
Yep.
and since have transitioned to American Combat Gym. What can you tell me about your experience there? And are there any young up and comers that we need to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, 1,000%, man. We got a great team building up. Like I said, I have nothing but love for American Top Team. I spent 12 years of my career there under Coach Mike Brown. Amazing coach. Won Coach of the Year a few times. You see him doing amazing things with the fighters. It really wasn't until COVID that any issues arose, and a lot of it actually came from, my brother moved down to Florida around the COVID time, and they're very particular who they have in the gym and who they don't. And then I wanted to be able to help, bring him to, train him. And, it's just, that's what I love, want to do what I love to do. So there was never any issues before with American Top Team having fighters Joe train at other gyms, I always would represent them, but they wouldn't even want me to go into another gym. And I'm like, and they're like, there's nothing you did, Charles. Like, we just changed our policy. So don't think like you doing anything wrong. We changed our policy. You don't like the new policy, it's cool. Like, you just can't come back here if you're going to be training in American Combat Gym. So, we opened American Combat Gym with Charles McCarthy, who's been my mentor since day one. So I stayed loyal to him, and we built an incredible team. We brought some guys up from start, and like I said, I think the best guy we have right now is my little brother Lucas. He's 7-0, undefeated. He's fighting on UFC Fight Pass tomorrow night for Combat FC, and he's the number one unsigned prospect in the world. So, we built him from scratch. We got, Matt Waggy, he's the coach over there, MMA head and MMA coach, and he's still fighting. He just won his last couple fights, and he's the type of guy that could easily be in the UFC, but you know how hard it is with the politics and stuff like that. I got my fighter Daniel Marcos from Peru. He, but I think he's five wins in the UFC in the last couple of years. He's been crushing it. They brought him to me from Peru a couple of years ago, and man, I've been working with him since, and he's having an amazing career, and always under my coach and the tutelage of Roger Crawl. And so I kind of cross train with American Combat Gym and MMA Science, where that's where Amanda Nunes trains, and obviously she's a legend with Coach Roger Crawl. So she had similar thing with American Top Team that I had. Like, it's like she did everything right. There's nothing but love, but it's just the fighters got to get what they need best. So you got to do what they got to do.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna be on the lookout for those names. You already know. And after the BKFC War signing, Ice War signing, you made sure to let the fans know, of course, that you wanted to still compete, or that you are intending to still compete, obviously, in traditional MMA.
Yeah.
Are there any specific promotions that you have your eyes on? Like you said, I know you fought with Game Bread. Have you ever had any interest in the original BKFC or Mike Perry's Dirty Boxing or any other
Yeah,
promotions?
I got a couple calls. The thing is that one thing that really threw me off and put my career on hold, man. I've been, on a 6-fight win streak, won a world championship, defended it, won that Game Bread fight. I'm on absolute heater, beating finishing, all finishes, all these fights I finished, in the first round. So everything's good. I'm getting calls left and right, and then the GFL comes and they have this big thing. They offer me a ton of money, like it was better than the UFC money, like the dream come true. And so put everything else on hold. CES is calling me, Game Bread guys are calling me, Dirty Boxing's calling me, but I'm like, hey, I'm with GFL, man. I got a big fight coming up. Like, this is my priority. And then they pulled the fight like a month before. They pulled the whole event, and it really dimmed things down. And then when I got the other calls, that's when I had my baby. My baby was born a month ago. So I kind of was like, hey, maybe things happen for a reason. Let's just kind of let things settle, have my baby, take care of my family. But now I'm back on the grind, man. So whatever fights are available, I'm open to. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm on the best winning streak of my career, and I'm the best I've ever been, man. I'm the healthiest, and I really believe I can beat anybody in the world, whether they're in the UFC, whether it's PFL, whether it's Game Bread. We had mentioned maybe fighting for the Game Bread world title, but they haven't had a show since the one I fought on. So we're waiting for the next one of those. But I mean, I'm open and I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. So I mean, if you hear anything, you guys just throw me in there. 155 pounds. I fight anybody in the world.
Yeah, you already know. After we'll clip pieces, and of course, Dirty Box and BKFC tag
Yep.
them, and always trying to do anything we can, of course. And we appreciate you having you join us as well. It's an honor to speak with you.
Hell
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and so, like we already mentioned, you're off to a great start this year. In a perfect world, how does the rest of 2025 play out?
Yeah, the rest of it plays out like I said. My brother wins his fight tomorrow night, so that's a good way to start it. And I take the next couple of weeks of this summer, getting the train up here, back to my roots in New England. Watch my boy Rico DeSchulo put a big fight on in BKFC, and then see. I have this fight coming up, in August, but I'm still training MMA. You know what I'm saying? So that's my main focus right now, is doing that, and get some ice time in for sure. But I'm looking. I mean, I'm all ears. I'm open. I'm looking for an opportunity to fight. I don't know if the UFC is coming back to Boston ever, but that's always been an opportunity. I talked to the guys over Hunter Campbell and Sean Shelby and the guys over there, and the opportunity is always there if they come back to Boston. You kind of saw what happened with Jeremy Stevens. I mean, he wasn't in the UFC for years. They came back to Iowa, his hometown. They brought him in, so that's always a possibility. But right, like I said, I'm just focused on staying healthy, taking care of my family, being in shape, and still fighting. So, like I said, any opportunities that come up, I'm just. But also the only thing that's different now that I think is different from the rest of my career, and guys that are coming up, is like, I have a certain price and a certain I'm a prize fighter, and I have a certain, I'm not going to go fight for $500 anymore like I used to. If you want me to get and promote your company and to fight for you, then I have to be paid for it. I've came too far, and I've had too much, too much success, and I know the risk versus reward. So the reward has to be worth the risk. So that's kind of what it looks like. And that's why, with the BKFC, I haven't fought for them yet. I've talked to Feldman many times. He's awesome. He gives me a call. Great guy. We have good conversation, but it's as far as the money, what's worth me going in there. I'm the type of fighter that's willing to die in the ring. Like, I'm going to fight to the death. Like, I'm not going to quit or take a knee or go down if I get hit with a shot, or if I can't see out of an eye, I'm not going to tell, I'm going to fight to the death. So when it comes to BKFC, it's a little bit more of a high risk than it is maybe if it's MMA, or, I can shoot takedown if I can't see or something. Like BKFC, you really gotta go out in your shield if you get compromised, to get hit or get cut. So I have a certain price that I have to fight for if it's something like that. But like I said, I'm open to all options. I love fighting. I love combat sports, whether it's jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, dirty boxing, game bred, UFC, all of it, man. I just want to fight the best in the world, and I want to be the best, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, we love to hear it. And now I just got a couple fun questions,
Yeah.
and I was doing a little research, and I just wanted to go over a couple things, just for fun. You come from a family of boxers. Who are some of your current favorites to watch? I know that you had said Mickey Ward is a
Yep.
favorite, but is there any current fighters right now that you've been enjoying watching?
Yeah, Mickey Ward absolutely is my boxing coach. He's from Lowell, Mass, Boston. I get to go see him a couple times. I'll definitely kind of see him in the next couple months. Go down to his gym. He's a legend, man. He's the type of guy that that is what the sport's all about. No quit. And when he's training me, it's like you're as tired as you could be hitting the bag. But when Mickey Ward's telling you to keep going, you're not gonna fucking stop. So he's an awesome guy. But as of right now, watching the boxing, there's a kid that I trained with my whole career since I was an amateur, and I almost took the boxing route, but I stuck with MMA. Is this kid Cletus Selden? He's the Hebrew Hammer. He's a kid out of Long Island, I think Long Island, New York. He actually got his first baby on the way, so shout out to him too. But man, I love watching him, man. He's been crushing it. He has a big win over Zab Judah recently, and I think he's like 23-1. I like watching King Callum Walsh. He's a new guy. I met him over at Peter Welch's gym in South Boston, when Dana White came and stopped by one day promoting one of his fights. I just like him. He's a kid from Ireland, absolute nails. He's an up and comer. So yeah, I mean, I don't watch boxing as much as I think I used to, but those are two kids that I look out, the two guys I look out for that I really enjoy watching fight. And of course, you see all the guys right now, all the good fights. Tank, and all those guys is. So there's some good fights. I wish it was a little bit more like it used to be, like the Tyson days and stuff like that. Like, those were my favorite. I used to go to my uncle Tommy's house to watch those fights and stuff like that. But that's also kind of where I got into boxing. Is my uncle Tom the Bomb Rosa, New England Tough Man champion, and he's still fighting, bro. He's 50s something years old, and he's probably fighting this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's fighting. He still does matches. And he's the Masters world champion for his age group and weight division. So shout out to my uncle Tommy too.
Oh yeah, that's awesome to hear. And also, as a Bruins fan, you got a list of all-time favorite Boston Bruins.
Yeah, man, Brad Marchand. Well, actually, cool. Sitting behind me, the Bruin I ever met. Like, and I never forget this. Whenever I meet little kids and give them cards or sign autographs, I'll never forget the first autograph I ever got from a professional athlete was Ray Bork. We went to his practice. One of the kids from my hockey team's dad, or his kid Ryan Cahill, his dad brought us to the practice, and Ray Bork walked out, and we held out a puck, and he signed it, man. And it was, I'll never ever forget that moment. Ray Bork signing the puck for me, and let me see if I actually got it right here. I got it somewhere. Here it is. That is it. I gotta show you. Yeah, I got it. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, you got right here. This is a picture. Ray Bork. See if you can see it. See him right there?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my first autograph as a little kid. So Ray Bork signed a picture for me, man. It was one of the most special moments of my life, and I'll never forget it, man. And he was the first one. And then now I loved Brash Marchand as a Bruin. Milan Lucic. I'm cool with Lucic. I talk to him sometimes. Marchand I got to meet a bunch of times in the practice, and now he's on the Panthers. The game's on now, so hopefully he nets one in, and he gets to win another Stanley Cup. But yeah, man. When I played in college, we got to shoot against Tuukka Rask as a goalie. That was a pretty cool moment when I played in college. We got to scrimmage them for a little bit, and yeah, man, I love hockey. I love it, and that's why I'm excited to be part of this ice force too. Because my favorite part of hockey is the fight. So I
Hell
think
yeah. When I was doing my notes, I actually wrote how does a box I didn't know if I was gonna say it or not, but you mentioned him a couple times, Milan Lucic. For whatever reason I wrote down, how does a boxing match against Milan go? I know
Oh,
he
he
has some
actually hit me
hands.
up a couple of times to come train. He's like, "Hey, man, where you at? I want to come." But man, I want him to come down to the gym and come train with us. I mean, I think he's a great dude. So but it's all love with him. But I mean, I think I would beat anybody. So that's just how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think unless they're a gigantic heavyweight that there's anybody that I couldn't fight in the world and beat. There's not. I really don't believe I like my chances against anyone in the world. Anyone in my weight, like around my weight class at least. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I don't think as much though that there's many NHL guys that are interested right now in this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's it's a little different, man. You know what I'm saying? Like to actually fight and to hop in like a schedule just to fight. Like a hockey game is one thing; it's in the moment. Like anybody can fight at a bar. Like 1 second, someone pushes you, boom, boom, you fight. But when you know about a fight and you're sitting in your room a week out, 2 weeks out, a month out from the fight, and you know that you're gonna get locked in the cage or locked in the ice with one other person and no teammates and nobody's helping you, it's different, man. And it's really different, and that's something that I think a lot of people and fans don't understand is the difference of that part of it. It's just it's just different, man. It's not like just anybody can get in a fight like in a quick moment, boom, and respect it. But when you know about it, it's a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I believe it. And I only got a couple more. I don't want to take too much time, but I did want to say, what are some things that any person visiting Peabody, Massachusetts has to do? And did you ever take a field trip to the George Peabody House Museum as a youngster?
Yeah, 100%, man. That's where I grew up. We went on field trips there as a kid. I actually remember when I was skateboarding as a little kid, Mayor Peter Torigi, and he was the mayor at the time. People would yell at us for skateboarding, but he actually stopped by and I think he gave us like a couple of dollars or he gave us some candy or something. I just never forget, man. Like he was a good dude, a legend of Peabody, and man, like it's where I grew up and it's always home for me. Obviously I live in South Florida now, and my parents now moved up to Seabrook, New Hampshire, where that's where I'm at right now, my house. So up in Hampton Beach, and that's where I live. But yeah, man, it's what I love, man. I love Boston. I love Boston sports, and I love where I'm from. That's what made me who I am.
Oh yeah. And then of course I saw on your Twitter page, for anybody out in Delray Beach, what are some absolute must orders at Cut 432?
Dude, best steak in the world, bro. Cut 432. You go there, you get some of the best prime cuts. They got everything is made from scratch, from literally from the salad dressings to the freaking croutons, man. Like when I would make the croutons there, bro, they would make me make the bread, make the dough rise, bake the dough, let the dough sit. After the bread's baked, let it cool off. Once it cools off, I have to cut the bread. Then I'd have to make it into croutons. Then I'd toss the croutons, rebake the croutons just to make croutons. Like I'd have to bake a whole loaf of bread, cut the loaf of bread, and make croutons out of it. So that's my point is when things are made fresh and you don't take shortcuts and made right, that's how you get the best product. And I think the same goes for anything in life. When you do things the right way and you don't take shortcuts, you get the best results.
Hell yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. And then the last fun one for me, I know you're a chef. I have to ask you, what's your signature dish?
Oh man, I love making chicken parmesan. We just had some. The only person that I think that makes it better than me is my pops. But yeah, I love cooking Italian food and fried chicken cutlets and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite dish. Also, really good is like seafood dishes. We got some good like baked haddock. We got scallops. I can make a good scallops. Make a good clam sauce. You know, like my dad, we dig clams right across the street. We chop them up, we parboil them, chop them up, make a nice linguine clam sauce. So we got, some good dishes I make with seafood too. So that's another one I love.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time for joining me today. It's been an honor to speak with you. And if you have, before we head out, a message for the fans.
Nah, man, everybody, if you guys get the chance to tune in, you get this new sport, BKFC Ice Wars. Everyone tune in. I think the first one that you get to see me live in action is going to be August. But like I said, you get to watch me scrap, put it on skates, and get back to my roots. So tune in and watch some violence on the ice.